For decades, live presidential debates have been a campaign highlight. Every TV network carries them. Both nominees make their case to the American people. But this year, that tradition is up in the air as news organizations scramble to make sure they happen again.
The question
Supreme
is,
Court Justice,
the
radical
question,
left.
will you
Who
shut
is
up,
your,
man?
listen,
That moment 4 years ago, one of the 145 times Donald Trump interrupted during the first debate of 2020. I think that the country would be better served if we allowed both people to speak with fewer interruptions. I'm appealing to you, sir, to do that.
well, and him too.
Well, frankly, you've been doing more interrupting
Well, that's
than he
all right,
has.
but-
A stark departure from the decorum of the first televised debate ever in 1960.
The things that Senator Kennedy has said, many of us can agree with.
I think Mr. Nixon is an effective leader of his party.
Yet, despite the unseemly face-offs in the last cycle,
You're
by
the
the way,
worst
you were a
president
vice-
America has ever had.
5 major TV networks, including CNN, have drafted a letter urging both men to do it again, saying there is simply no substitute for the candidates debating with each other. On the trail, Trump is demanding a rematch.
I'm calling on Crooked Joe to debate anytime, any place.
But Biden has been non-committal.
Depends on his behavior.
Nia, given Trump's behavior back in the 2020 debate, which I remember very vividly, and his penchant for telling untruths, how do you feel about the news media pushing for debates?
Listen, I mean, they have to, right? This is a tradition for news organizations to want to debate. There are lots of eyeballs that go into it. But I think we're trying to graft normal political forums into abnormal times and an abnormal candidate. Trump is a liar and he's a conspiracy theorist as well. And I think, news organizations should consider maybe there shouldn't be debates at this point, given who Donald Trump is as a candidate.
Johnny, what do you think of that argument that the networks, by pushing for the debates, are trying to normalize, at least in one case, a candidate who is anything but normal?
Oh, I understand the argument. It's not like he's not going to be able to inject conspiracy theories and craziness into the public discourse. He's the Republican nominee. He's the former president of the United States. He has lots of venues to be able to do that. Look, I agree there's no substitute for presidential debates. In the same way, there's no substitute for a fight between a monkey and a hawk. I mean, it's like there's nothing like it. It doesn't necessarily mean it actually adds a lot to civic discourse or understanding. But it's the job of political journalists to be, in effect, as David Broder said, fight promoters. And this is just good box office. So it doesn't surprise me that the media wants it.
It's good box office, but it is the time when most voters actually tune in. I mean, you see the numbers. People really do
70,
focus.
80 million people.
70, 80 million. What gets those numbers other than the Super Bowl anymore? And this is the one, but this is the one moment where people really are going to be focusing on what these two people are saying. And yes, is Trump wrangle-proof? Clearly not. I mean, look what happened to Chris. I mean, it's hard, but it is important that he actually sit and debate President Biden.
I totally agree. We should be pushing for the debates, and the idea that the news media has to weigh in to protect the American public from what Donald Trump has to say is what I think has caused.
Well, wait. Nobody's saying that we shouldn't air the debates if they happen, but I guess to take David Broder's line, and it's a good line, should we be promoters? Should we be egging them on and putting pressure on both sides?
The media should be for the debates. A clash between the candidates is good. More transparency, more visibility for the candidates is good. And you guys, if the debate hosts, people like us will have hours to dissect all of the lies they tell afterwards.
Let me pick up here, though.
This idea that it's dangerous for the public to hear what the candidates have to say is
clearly
ridiculous.
doing everything he can to taunt Biden into a debate. Here he is on the campaign trail recently.
You can see we have an empty podium right here to my right. You know what that is? That's for Joe Biden. I'm trying to get him to debate.
So, Lulu, this is a different question. Should Biden debate Trump?
So, okay, it's pretty rich, first of all, that Trump is now talking about this since he didn't debate anyone during the primaries. He avoided all of the primary debates. So that is, I think, pretty rich. But I do think President Biden should debate former President Trump. I think it's what the country needs. I do think it's good that the media is pressing for this. It is not normalizing. I think there are certain things that need to happen People are going to go to vote for these people. And I think listening to them on the stage is
Let me
important.
ask Eliana about that. This is a man, Donald Trump, who faces 4 criminal charges, cases. This is a man who interfered with the peaceful transfer of power. I'm not talking about the media now. I'm talking about Biden. Why should the president of the United States engage and lend a platform to Donald Trump?
Well, it's up to him.
Well, I agree it's up to him,
Of course.
but do you think he should or not?
President Biden can decide whether he wants to debate. Look, President Biden benefited from debating President Trump the last time. So if I were him, he doesn't call me for advice that often, but if I were him, I would debate. President Trump came in way too hot the last time when he debated Biden. He didn't do that well. If I were Biden, I would not be afraid of a debate with Trump. I would, he's older and more doddering this time around, but like Biden did fine the last time. Trump did not do well.
Yeah, I would say no. If you're Biden, don't do it. It sort of put. I mean, the reason that Trump didn't do it last time because he didn't want to sort of elevate the candidates who were on the stage.
He's
I would
the
say
Republican
Biden.
nominee.
I would say
How much more
Biden should do the
elevated can
same
you
thing.
be?
And partly it's because in a debate format, you can't fact check lies in the way that you could, say, for an interview. If it's a one-on-one interview, there are all sorts of ways that
Okay,
you can
but
do
Neil,
this.
like,
Is
it
it sort of
wasn't- it wasn't-
back-to-back town
It
halls
wasn't
or something
the
like
lies
that?
that hurt Trump last time. It was his affect and his manner that I think he came out having damaged himself. Like I don't really think Biden.
I think
will
we're in
be
a
hurt.
different time in terms of Trump's lies, in terms of the danger of Trump's lies, in terms of the conspiracy theories. Like 2020 was it was pre-January 6th and it was pre-big lie. And this is the era that we're in. So
But Nia, let me ask you this. I'm so sorry. But Nia, let me just ask you this. I mean, Trump comes onto the podium. And do you think he's actually going to be persuading people? I mean, enough of this has been injected into the bloodstream that the people that believe it, and the people who don't, I don't think that him coming out and talking about it is going to change people's minds.
Jonah, 1, will Biden debate Trump? And 2, if he doesn't, how damaging will it be to him to duck it?
I think it all depends on how far ahead in the polls Biden gets. If he's pretty far ahead in the polls, he won't. If it's got to be a Hail Mary, he will. I think Biden has more to gain and more to lose. It's just a higher risk premium for him, given the people's uneasiness about his age. But on the lying stuff, I just don't know. It's not like Trump doesn't get out lies anyway, so you might as well let the American people hear them and adjudicate them that way.